When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I'm Carol from Sunbury, Ohio.
I'm a Republican, but I don't care who does the job as long as the job gets done. That's why I like Sherrod Brown. He stood up to both parties on China and worked with Republicans to fight fentanyl because Sherrod fights for Ohio. That's leadership.
Paid for by friends of Sherrod Brown.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check you have the tickets in your wallet first before you drive 2 hours to the big game. Seriously, you had one job. Now the closest you'll get to the 50-yard line is parking lot D. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to the Daily Red, Saturday, the 5th of October. Maybe, but not quite. What I mean, ladies and gents, is we are filming this very late on Friday the 4th, but we want to give you the headlines, wait to see if there was any embargoes or any news. So we've rambled it together. And the reason we've done that is because, naturally, there's an early kickoff, isn't there? So we want you to have plenty of listening time and get everything in there together. Now, ladies and gents, quite a few different bits to go through. I know we're ahead of Crystal Palace, aren't we? 12-13. If some like sound strange. If we could just win this and go into the international break top, we probably all take it. It doesn't have to be scintillating, does it? But win, no injuries, we would take that all day long. So, what late on Friday is kicking around news-wise? Well, Dominic Szoboszlai did an interview, or pod you could call it, with Men in Blazers, if you follow them at all. So it's now released. It's just over 8 minutes long. Quite a few things he was asked, naturally, in that time. Quite a few things he said. So let's go with the highlights from that. We'll give you a bit of a spoiler alert from it, but well worth a watch, I'd say. Not too long of your time. Did say his biggest thing is, I want to win the Champions League. Win the Champions League with Liverpool. So do we, Dominic. We want you to achieve that as well. He was also asked about what's the difference between Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot, which naturally seems to be the question on a lot of people when they talk to our current players' lips, don't they? So what did they say on this? He said, Jurgen was probably the 12th man on the pitch. So if he could be, as we come onto the pitch and almost make tackles, the coach, as in Arne Slot, is more calm, reassuring, and he knows what we plan is going to work out somehow. I don't think that's a dig or criticism at all. It's just the nature of their personalities, I think, almost, isn't it? Is he saying that, very much, if you're honest, Klopp was about, he had tactics, and he was obviously a brilliant, incredible manager, but it's just the different styles more than anything. So there's a bit of me hopes no one makes anything of that interview, because he talks about it quite a bit. And he also talks about Jurgen Klopp quite a bit. He said, with Jurgen, we used to just win the ball and go directly to the goal and score, which is great, isn't it? Which actually, it was working sometimes. But now that's the difference, that we have more of the ball and we are more calm and just build up from behind. Again, I don't think it's just the stylistic difference, isn't it, that way? So Nothing to criticise. No issues at all. But, well, and again, for context, watch it. Men in Blazers, just over 8 minutes. Dominic Szobozlai, who it's interesting to hear from in recent times. Virgil van Dijk was also did a quick interview for TNT. That's out there. I'm sure it'll be just before the game tomorrow as well. But he was asked 20 questions. Seems to, I'm guessing that's a snippet or something that TNT Sports do. Don't really know it. But he was asked about what was on his phone. So a picture of his kids, which he took, which was a proud memory for him. Who his idol was growing up, Ronaldinho. And who he's closest to in football right now. Joey Gomez. There you go. Nathan Ake mentioned as well, but no one gives a shit about Nathan Ake, let's be honest. So there you go. There's 3 out of 24, you ladies and gents. Only 17 to watch. But yeah, a lot to talk about there. Ryan Gravenberch as well. He did an interview, asked quite a lot of questions by the official website, answered quite a lot. Some interesting stuff as well. He said, how do you feel on playing and producing some more consistent performances? He said, I really enjoy it. Obviously, I get the minutes now. And for me, I just get by to try and get consistent, or try and get consistent every game and to show myself every game. And I think it's going really well. I'm feeling really good. So you should, the way it's going. Also, a couple of others I just want to pick out because he was asked about the midfield 3 and how satisfied he is with his own performances. So on the midfield 3, so I know Dom and Alexis really well. If you play often with them, you know the quality of them. And then I don't know the word for it, but when McAllister goes higher, I have to come on so we know from each other what the other guys are going to do. We know everything from each other. Also, now we play a lot of games together. Yeah, it's interesting he talks about that, isn't it? Because if you think about those 3, Szobozlai tends to be higher, and yes, he brings the recovery run, but it's a lot of talk at the moment, isn't it? Is it a 6? Is it an 8? I mean, McAllister and Gravenberch are in between, maybe 6.5s. I don't know, aren't they? One goes, one stays. They've all talked about it. There's not an absolute fixed position. And you can hear Gravenberch, as he said it there. If McAllister goes, I have to, as it come on, he said, but I'm sure he means stay in that regard, the translation. So, yeah, interesting the players are talking about it as well. And he was asked actually about his role and how he's adapted to his game. He says, it comes quite naturally. When I first spoke with the coach, he said to me, I see you as a number 8 like last season, but I want you to try as a number 6 as well. So I was like, okay, yeah, we can do that. I said to him, of course we can do it. And the rest is history. It's interesting. The way Arne Slot says it, I see you as an 8, but I want you to try as a 6. It is an interesting, almost because people are obsessed with the 6 and what is a slot 6. I'm not even sure we're seeing it with the personnel he's got. Maybe because he didn't land Zubimendi, there's this McAllister, Gravenberch alternate. Who knows until he maybe gets the signing, if he's going to go for it even, that he wants realistically. But absolutely fascinating the way it's working out. And Slot talks about this in the presser and Ryan Gravenberch. There's only so much you can, say about this. It's early doors, as Slot alluded to. We'll have to say it's that if he stays consistent. Slot even mentioned the fact that if you look at this season so far, he's had more 90-minute starts than he has in the last 2 combined as well. So they're under no illusions this is just going to happen all the way through. There's a lot of tough tests to come for Ryan Gravenberch, but you can only judge on what you see. And with what you see so far, there's a lot to like. And if you don't think he's been doing that well, there's probably a reason Ryan Gravenberch is in, or a nominee, I should say, on the shortlist for Player of the Month. We'll come to it should be later, because there's a few comments I want to do about that. And naturally, it's right to mention the Slot presser, post-conference presser we did today. Brilliant press conference. Honestly, you should not underestimate Arne Slot and just how good his press conferences are. And there was many things he was asked about. 1230s, the contracts again, which he kind of gave a laughing answer to. He corrected journos and various things. But there's one answer I want to pick, and I really want to illuminate on this one and seen it again late. He said, on whether he's wary of people getting carried away of being top of the table. No. We are Liverpool. So players are used to being on top of the league. It would be very weird if a player at Liverpool is all of a sudden with his head in the clouds, I think you say. So no. But if we don't play well tomorrow, people will probably come up with that instead of saying Palace did well, or we maybe did other things wrong. But I don't see this, and it would definitely not be normal for two reasons. These players are experienced enough to understand the league table after 6 games as well, and the schedule we have compared to other teams. Second of all, Virgil, Ali, Trent, Robbo, Mo, they won the league here. They won the Champions League here too. For them, it's a nice thing to be on top of the table, but I'm not expecting them to watch their mobile every second of the day being top of the table. Brilliant answer. Brilliantly delivered. I'm probably not doing it the full justice, don't get me wrong on that. But even opening, no, with Liverpool, no one's getting carried away. We know it's a good start. 8 out of 9, it's the best start of any Liverpool manager ever, isn't it? But it's a start. It's not even the middle or the finish yet. There's tougher tests to come. We know all that. But
when you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality bikes, which might lead to another discovery. Getting back on the saddle isn't always comfortable. Good news is Sierra has massage guns. And chafe wipes, too. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
A great workout deserves a great reward. Treat yourself right with new coconut smoothie bowls made with fresh fruit, purely Elizabeth granola, and now creamy coconut. You earned it. Grab a treat you can feel good about, only at Smoothie King.
he's getting the sound bites right. He's getting everything right. The team is, well, the team's 1 out of 9. The team's keeping clean sheets. Fitness availability. The emergence of Gravenberch, the resurgence of Luis Diaz. There is so much to like, people. There really is. Yes, there's tougher days ahead. But maybe for all we talked about Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes and what they do, maybe their best side in recent times could prove to be, who knows, Dutch head coach. But he's maybe a bit extreme, but he's doing everything right at the moment. Also with post-conference presser, we talked about the threats Palace will bring and their players. And what we mentioned, Adam Wharton would love him, would adore him. Oh, I think he would be sensational as a midfield option. Left foot, almost between a 6 and 8. I think he could be perfect. I genuinely do. Watch him end up at fucking City. But we'll see anyway on that. But the reason I mentioned him is he was checked by Glasner in the press conference. They're a bit unsure. He does have a groin issue. And they're even talking with England about his participation, whether they don't know if that was going to be, as Glasner said, the full, the under-21. But, yeah, won't be the worst thing for me if Adam Wharton is out tomorrow. Far worse is what Paul Merson's been saying. And I mentioned Ryan Gravenberch as one of Liverpool's, along with Luis Diaz's, fair play to them, nominees for September's Player of the Month. And I'm not belittling those two at all. They've had great months when I say this. But it's wrong that someone else is not on the shortlist. We said this on Red Alert, all three of us. The Liverpool Player of the Month is Virgil van Dijk. It's astounding how not everyone, but sometimes his performances can almost be taken for granted. The things he does, the covering, a lot of the clean sheets are because of Virgil van Dijk. And Konate's played his part, but it sounds strange, but we almost seem to expect a 9 out of 10 from Virgil van Dijk. We just expect it. If he's an 8 out of 10, some people always give him a 6 because, like, well, why has Virgil dropped his standards? Like, because they're so fucking high compared to everyone else. One person who doesn't realise that is Paul Merson, because I said he was talking about Virgil van Dijk, and there's a story out today or a few things he's been talking about him. He said, he, as in Rodri, is the only player who can get into any team in the world. That explains just how big his influence is, and it's a big bonus for an Arsenal. When I say to people, they go like, oh, What about Van Dijk then? But does Van Dijk get into the Arsenal team now? He may be a better player, but he's not getting ahead of William Saliba and Gabriel at the moment. Utter lunacy. Insane. If Van Dijk was at Arsenal instead of one of those two, they'd be red hot favourites for the title right now. No doubts about it at all. Probably would have won one, just being honest. That's the difference. I don't like when people try and knock the other defenders, not just because I like honest assessment more than anything. And I think Gabriel and Saliba are brilliant defenders. I really do. However, just to put it in context, a Saliba 9 out of 10 is a VVD 7 out of 10. That's the levels that we're talking about. You've heard Saliba say before as well just how good Van Dijk is. Honestly, utter lunacy there from Paul Merson. And he was even then talking about this game and who he plays, said he might rest Mo Salah. Salah continues heroics, he said, in midweek against Bologna in the Champions League. I just think it'll be a nightmare if Liverpool lose him when he's in this type of form. It's impossible to replace someone like him. Yeah, but he's not going to stay in form, Paul, if you don't play him at the same time. Yes, the odd rest, but I can't see it. It's hard to see as well because Chiesa is out. Well, let me just clarify. He could be. We don't know if he trained on Friday. We're waiting to see. Slow also mentioned he might not get in the 20. I'm not hopeful Chiesa will be in the squad, so it's pretty straightforward. And then he also said he'd start Luis Diaz over Gakpo in this, but his reference was because you don't need Gakpo's height. People pay him for these comments, like actually pay him to tell you these types of things. But hey ho, what can you say? There's Paul Merson on Virgil van Dijk. One person who does know what they're talking about is Tony Rudiger. Now at Real Madrid, the former Chelsea boy, a centre-back. So he was talking about Erling Haaland. Now, I'll explain why a couple of players we mentioned before came up. He said, with Haaland, I don't know what he eats or what he does, but wow, the power he has. When I see his goals, if you put a cross high at the second post, you can't beat him. You cannot beat him. If he wants, you're under him in every way. He's a beast. It's crazy. Yes, he didn't score against us as in Real Madrid and stuff like this, but he hit the crossbar. There was luck on our side. How do I prepare for this type of player? It's hard to prepare because you just have to be ready for the physical battle. There's rarely people who can physically match him. The only ones I've seen in the last couple of years are Virgil van Dijk, who's the same size as him. That's a good matchup. And I have to say, Saliba also did very well. Tony Rudiger, the Real Madrid centre-half, realises how good Virgil van Dijk, and even when he's talking about him with Saliba, listen to what he said specifically. He said, with Van Dijk, that's a good matchup. Have to say, Saliba also did well. Not the same, though, is it? Yeah, we've also seen Virgil van Dijk keep a clean sheet against Haaland at Anfield. We've also seen him that bit last season when he was taking him on, and that was a jewel that we liked. There was so much focus on that. But just to clarify, if anyone's any doubt, Virgil van Dijk should have been Liverpool's Player of the Month for September. All the lads on Red Alert, all three of us said that. There's no doubt about that. It's an absolute travesty he's not a nomination. It's just because, and it's important when we're saying this, we're not belittling any of our other players. It's that recency bias element a little bit, though, isn't it? It's almost taking it for granted. It absolutely fascinates me. It really does. But listen, Virgil just be sat there probably quietly taking man of the match all the times. So we'll leave it at that. One thing is second in, though. Who's the fastest at Liverpool this season so far? So this data came via Adam Smith, so as the sort of data editor at Sky Sports. So he put the top 10 fastest Liverpool players this season based on kilometres an hour. Might surprise you, Van der Sar family fortunes, this, isn't it, when you're pinging the board type of thing, in case you don't have that in your country. I think Steve Harvey does it in America, just in case we've got any American listeners at all. But Virgil was second. Trent Alexander-Arnold's top. Trent can motor. You always thought that, but just to be clear, Trent is the fastest recorded speed at Liverpool this season. So Trent 1, Virgil 2, Dominic Szoboszlai, number 3. You on the rest now, don't you, just in case you're not seeing it. So you go 4, Gakpo, 5, Konate, 6, Gravenberch, 7, Salah, 8, Conor Bradley, 9, Andy Robertson, and 10, Luis Diaz. Now, if I'd ask you for that without telling you, I don't think any of you'd have got that top 10 in order, put it that way. But there you go, ladies and gents. We have the fastest 10 recorded speeds this season. Now, there's good news and bad news as the international break approaches. Good news is Chiesa is not in the Italy squad, so he'll have that time to recover and be set for the second part of the season. And he'll get minutes, I've no doubt about that, just the sheer games and things that are coming up. Here's the bad news. Do you remember Uruguay and obviously everything that happened with Darwin Núñez and he had that ban? Not anymore, ladies and gents. Just to be clear, as I'm reading here, Uruguay FA did appeal it. The CAS, the Superior Sports Court, and as a result, Darwin Núñez, according to Dave Ocott, is now free to play in Uruguay's upcoming World Cup games against Peru and Ecuador while that is going through. Maybe is it good news? I don't know. Maybe it might give Núñez some rhythm that way. I'm going to look cards on the table. I despise international football with a passion. I've had enough of it. There's too much of it. Not a fan at all. So, yeah, there we go. Just my opinion, but Chiesa won't go. Núñez will. So that's the latest development, ladies and gents. Now, 12:30, Crystal Palace. Interestingly now, Andrew Beasley put out a tweet, which I think is a great one. Liverpool, since 2020, have now had more 12:30 kickoffs than they have 3 p.m. at home. And I know we're TV popular, but yeah, the amount of 12:30s is just ridiculous. However, just in case you've not seen post-conference presser or heard Arne Slot today, he won't be using this as an excuse. In fact, actually challenged journalists on whether you think he's stupid because he trains the players or has training at 12 o'clock every day. So that is an interesting one, isn't it? But again, that's without context of delivery. I would totally guide you towards the post-conference press and the official pod, watching the video. It was well worth, if you're a journo, the admission alone. So a couple of pods to listen out for this morning if you get time to kill the mood. PCP, post-conference presser, is out for you to listen to. Raw will be out later, no doubt. Trey, I know Trev, Dave, I don't know who is the third party, but you know what the boys bring. You know what they'll say. Let's hope it's good after a Crystal Palace or victory over Crystal Palace. And another one just to shout out at the same time as well. Minefield Pod is out, lads, isn't it? Don't say guilty pleasure, but that's just wrong. I just like the Minefield Pod and coming at it from the sports psychology. Andrew and Alan, I think it's brilliant what they do. So if you've not listened to it already, well worth the listen. If it's your first time listening to that pod when you put it on, you are in for a treat, ladies and gents. So well worth that. Crystal Palace today. Team news, we away. Selection, we away. Let's hope it's a Liverpool victory we await at the same time as well. But there we go. Saturday, the 5th of October, when you're listening to this. Enjoy, hopefully, a red victory. Enjoy, hopefully, a good weekend. And enjoy, hopefully, good health. And ladies and gents, that was the Daily Red Anfield Index.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.